Joining us live from Northern Virginia, Pete Snyder, former candidate for lieutenant governor on the Republican side, Virginia entrepreneur chairman of the Disruptor Fund, and also a Fox News contributor. Pete, great to have you with us.
Johnny, great to be with you. Good morning.
Now, how's your baby? How's the little girl?
Baby B is doing great. We have a little 6-week-old daughter, and she is ruling the roost. It is not even a benevolent dictatorship. She rules with an iron fist.
And how's Mama?
Mama's doing terrific. A little bit bittersweet in the Snyder household this morning. It is Mama's first day back to work. So she was a little emotional last night. We all were. Not wanting to spend time away from her daughter, but also wanting to continue with her career. So it's something that I think many families struggle with. And anyway, it was quite the morning in the Snyder household this morning.
All right. Well, it sounds like everything is fine, and your little girl is healthy and happy. So that's what matters. Pete, got a lot of topics to go on today. I want to start with the Republican Party of Virginia 2015 Commonwealth dinner tomorrow night, 6 to 9 p.m. We're live at the Marriott Hotel downtown Richmond. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great event. I think upwards and above 300-plus people are going to be there. And it's going to be really interesting to see what Rick Perry has to say. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, I think Texas, the state of Texas, and the record that Rick Perry racked up over his 12 years in office is really second to probably no one else in the country as far as governors and really what the job creation machine that Texas has become. I think he has a great record to speak of, and I think he'll also probably address his ill-fated run last time around and what's going to be different this time. As you said on the bumper coming in here, John, all roads lead through Virginia in 2016, and I think we're going to see every single candidate and their brother and their mother and their spouse before the end of it. So it's a great time to be a Republican in Virginia.
I think it's going to be finally a pivotal state in the nominating process, because everything is getting squeezed in, and I think Virginia's going to be up for grabs, so that's going to be interesting. And there's no math to win the presidency as a Republican right now, Pete, without Virginia.
Well, that's true, and I think, John, what you're going to find with the smart candidates that are running in the primary for president, they're going to be wanting to put boots on the ground in Virginia early, not only because we're going to be a factor in the nominating contest for the first time in many, many moons, but also you just can't add water and expect to win in November. You need to have something going on here early. It's going to be a battleground state, and I think the leading contenders are going to be putting people on the ground early in Virginia.
Pete, the Oscars last night. Look, the Fräulein and I saw the Birdman Saturday night in kind of anticipation of the fact that people were predicting they were going to win. I would have given the thing 2.5 stars. I thought it was okay. I was asking myself last evening, who is choosing these movies? I didn't think it was winner status. What say you?
Well, Johnny, I think it's the classic Hollywood elite. I did not get to see Birdman. Wasn't on the roster. Obviously, with the arrival of Baby B in early January, the Snyders have not been making it to the movie theater over the past couple of weeks. Did get to see Boyhood, which I thought was very well done. Did get to see the Lego movie, and I think everything is awesome, John. But no, I didn't. I saw very few of the Oscar-nominated movies this year.
Well, by the way, get ready to get a full, long dose of SpongeBob SquarePants, Pete, because it's coming. It's coming to the Snyder household, baby. And if you're like me, after a while, you get hooked on it. We also saw SpongeBob the movie, so I've seen every SpongeBob episode 5 times at least, and we still see them. Okay, at the Oscars last night, wage inequality for women comes up. What hypocrisy!
Well, John, I don't think I know anyone who's against wage equality for women. I think it's something that I've tried to practice, and I know I've practiced in the workplace. In fact, that my former company, 80% of my management team were women, and trust me, they're making a ton more than the guys were. But, if you look at both the Obama White House and the Clinton Senate office, women made 30% less than their male counterparts. So, this really is liberals talking the talk, but not walking the walk. I'd love to see Hollywood aim their fire right at the Clinton, the soon-to-be Clinton campaign, and the Obama White House. Change starts from within, and Hollywood can make a big impact for a lot of those staffers that have been working hard in the White House and aren't making what their male counterparts are.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of it is ridiculous, and as you pointed out, both in Clinton and in Obama, the 30% under. Yet we get the same mantra. It's almost like just a tired old stuff that they roll out. Just to me, it isn't even interesting now. Common sense.
Well, John, it's like the women in the Clinton Senate office made $15,000 less than their male counterparts.
Yeah.
And then you have Hollywood rallying to this cry and trying to blame Republicans. Change starts at home. Make sure, the liberals better start that in every nonprofit that they give to for the liberal cause, that women are making as much as men. It starts there. It starts in all the Senate offices. It starts on Capitol Hill and also in the White House. So Democrats, if they want to lead, they should lead from their own office.
Pete, speaking of hypocrisy, what about these hundreds of millions of dollars that the Clinton Foundation has received from all these foreign entities around the globe? Now she's going to run for president. I mean, how do you think that's going to play?
John, I think it's a tinderbox. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. And hats off to the Wall Street Journal for doing a bang-up job on their investigative reporting. But how can you be running around the countryside as Secretary of State trying to promote the economic interests of America and have your foundation shaking down companies that you're negotiating deals on their behalf? I mean, it's really unseemly. It's something that we've never faced, and I think it's going to be a real challenge to the media. They better step up. I certainly know, John, that you're going to be all over it, and folks with our point of view are going to be examining that. But the mainstream media, this is a put-up-or-shut-up moment for them. And I think that all the talk about Hillary Clinton's inevitability, I think this thing can trip her in a moment. I think she's going to be a disaster as a candidate.
You know what? We are in agreement with that. I've been saying it for some time. I think the wheels are going to come off, and you look at the behavior of how they and you use the word shakedown. How they have just shook down foreign governments, foreign companies, to get hundreds of millions of dollars. And then, they went into the White House basically with no assets and no money. And now the two of them are worth $1 bajillion. I mean, just the whole thing stinks. Pete, Rudy Giuliani, I'm going to play his comments and get your take.
Rudy Giuliani at a fundraiser in New York, a meeting of big Republicans, including the presidential candidate on the Republican side, the Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. Rudy Giuliani says this, and again, remember, in the context, Rudy Giuliani is not the mayor of New York anymore. He's not running for anything, so he can say whatever he wants, but a likely presidential candidate is sitting a few feet away when he says this. I do not believe, and I know this is a horrible thing to say, I do not believe that the president loves America. He doesn't love you, and he doesn't love me. He wasn't brought up the way you were brought up, and I was brought up through love of this country.
You can be as opposed to the President of the United States as you want to be. You don't say that anybody in this country, much less the President of the United States, doesn't love the country unless you can prove it.
Okay. Pete, did Rudy Giuliani go too far? You worked for him and for mayor the first time in '93. You guys are good personal friends. What's up?
Hey, John, just as the Democrats always say about Joe Biden, it's Joe being Joe, this is Rudy being Rudy. Look, I got to tell you, I don't question that the president is a Christian. I don't question that the president has his own love for America. I think really what Rudy Giuliani was getting at was the Obama administration and the president's seeming indifference to America, indifference to American exceptionalism, indifference to the role that America plays in the world. In fact, he not only is indifferent, he wants us to take a back seat, and that's what's really causing this horrible vacuum around the world. There's a lack of leadership. So, I think that what Rudy was going after is this is a president that just doesn't seem to care about America's role in the world, and that is something we have never seen in our lifetimes.
I agree. I like your analogy. It is Rudy being Rudy, just like it's Joe being Joe Biden. Let's go to a CPAC this weekend. Oh, just as an aside to that, I also agree with you that this is blown way out of proportion. And if I was Scott Walker, I don't think I'd have said anything either. I mean, he didn't defend it. He basically said, look, the guy can say whatever he wants.
Well, that's it, John. I met with Scott Walker this week, and I think he's a wildly impressive candidate for president if he chooses to hop in the fray. He has a great record in Wisconsin, and something that I think we need our country to emulate. The reforms that he's done on their economy and also their education system is really exactly what's needed in this country.
When you met this weekend with Governor Walker, Pete, what was the one takeaway, the one wow that you had?
This guy, again, to abuse a phrase that on your bumper you had the president saying, and we talked about earlier, he doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. I mean, think about it. You know the gauntlet that all candidates have to go through, especially to get the Republican nomination.
Yeah.
You look at all the different factions of our party, John. Scott Walker doesn't have to prove to anyone that he's a conservative, whether it's economic conservatives, social conservatives, you name it. He's not going to have to pander there because he has a sterling record.
Right.
That's impressive. Mm-hmm. He has a vision for where he thinks he wants this country to go. I think you have a country that's going to be hungry for some real leadership. And also, I think you look at I think campaigns are about the future, not about the past. Mm-hmm. And I think if I somewhat shudder thinking about that we can have a campaign of retreads. That's not what the Republican Party needs.
Right. We
need to be looking forward, and we're going to win if we have a positive, reform-minded message for the future for this country. If we're just playing by, who was president when and what the record was, and are we tied to it, it's a surefire way to losing and being out of power again.
I agree 100%. I also don't think the fact that he doesn't have a college degree matters because he's got the results behind him. What say you?
Well, John, I've employed hundreds of people in my lifetime, and I got to tell you, rarely does where they went to school and if they finished come into play. I look at where was their last job, where was their job before that, what did they do there, what were their accomplishments. And that means far much more. And, I got to say, if the elites want to try to fillet the guy for not finishing his senior year at Marquette, they're going to be ticking off 65% of the country that doesn't have a college degree. So this is a highly educated, highly qualified person for the job, much more qualified than Barack Obama was when he stepped into office.
Without a doubt. We're out of time. We want to thank Pete Snyder for being with us. Hey, Pete, we're at CPAC Live Thursday and Friday. Can you stop over?
Absolutely. And you know what? I might even baptize Baby B in the movement over there, right?
There you go. Take the baby.
The gauntlet. I just need to make sure she has all her shots beforehand.
We want to see the baby at CPAC. Pete Snyder, we're out of time. We want to thank Pete for being with us. You want to follow him on Twitter at Pete Snyder.